example.
Yeah.
Like,
It's nice, like the language that is kind of common there. Like it's grounded in fact, or it's grounded in truth, right? And grounded is also a term used in like electrical engineering. To ground something to the ground, it basically means like it kind of like what's the English word? If you connect to wires, um,
oh yeah,
then they have the same voltage and stuff. They become like one. So if one of them, the earth is used to ground stuff often. If that has like zero voltage or something, like it's so big that it's kind of like can hold the rest, and you attach stuff to it, then it's kind of like grounded electrically.
mm,
But the
mm,
same as with truth, you're like okay, this is undeniable, and everything that's grounded in truth just means it's kind of like in an electric system, like connected to that thing, and that
yeah,
thing kind of uh there's like a transitivity. Like if this thing is true, then this thing is true, then this. But once you uproot this one thing, everything falls.
right, right.
And you're also familiar with Gödel's incompleteness theorem and stuff like that, probably.
I learned a little bit about that in high school. I mean, the general idea, yes.
Yeah. So like logic can know its own limits. So truth by itself is not self-sufficient. It's like you cannot have a system that's purely logic that can even exist. He
Mm,
proved that mathematically, and the immanent metaphysics goes one step behind that and has like an even more abstract theorem, of which the Gödel theorem is just an instance, which is crazy, but it's beyond proven that you
mm,
cannot have if your epistemology only focuses on truth. Um, and I'm differentiating between lowercase truth and uppercase capital T truth, um,
okay.
which I can explain it in a minute. But if it's only like this lowercase truth, which is often called like relative truth, exactly what you said, this is true because this is true because this is true. It's like always relative to some other truth. Um,
Mm,
that doesn't work. Um, in fact, this is the basis for every atrocity that ever happened on this planet, I think. This type of epistemology that basically says facts don't care about your feelings. Because I think so when I say capital T truth, as I said before, the relative plane, everything except for God, like the world of form, the relative plane consists out of trinities, yin yang and their relationship. And no concept that's conceivable can exist alone. No concept is self-sufficient. It always needs some counterpart to make it knowable.
mm,
Because a thing can exist and be itself, but to know itself, it needs to create contrast. Um, and this is where the truth, goodness, and beauty triple comes in. That's like super famous, right? So what's the conjugate of truth? It's goodness, um, in my book. And beauty, that is actually more fundamental. The immanent modality, their relationship basically. And I like to call truth, and this is like now the lowercase truth, relative truth. I like to call it cold beauty, and goodness is something like warm beauty. Like truth is how beauty looks from the outside, or coherence. I say like beauty is a perception of coherence, but if something is coherent, if something looks coherent from the outside, that's what we call truth. But
mm.
if it feels coherent from the inside, which is like embodied warm feeling, that's very ineffable. Um, that is what we call goodness. Um, and capital T, truth, originates from the right relationship between truth and goodness. Because truth is the masculine archetype. So yin and yang map to feminine and masculine. And Taoism for thousands of years preached like the right relationship between yin and yang is that yang, the masculine, serves yin, the feminine. That's how you create more beauty. Like it's a very simple, elegant statement. And if that is wrong, then you consume beauty, you consume potential. And behind everything is happening, this is like the metaphysical generator function, the metaphysical engine behind everything is that. So
Right.
truth is masculine and goodness is feminine. I think it's quite intuitive, right? Like one is known through thought, truth, and the other is known through feeling, goodness. So truth in service to goodness gives rise to capital T truth. And the thing is, truth is, as all these postmodern critics have laid out, truth is relative, right? That's the postmodern slogan, right? Which totally undermines the modern era that was like, no, truth is what brings us all together. But they were like, yeah, but you can make shit up because it's all relative. You can say this is obviously true, and if that is true, then all the other stuff you can make it true, but you can never prove the assumption itself. It's not self-sufficient.